So let's look at using those dictionaries then. So in this example, this new pizza example, we've got two dictionaries, pizzas and extras, which store the data about the pizzas and the toppings. Okay, you can see, I mean, it's very clear how they're laid out. You've got the pizzas, the type of pizza, and the price, and the extras, the type of topping, and the price. Okay, so then in order to calculate to generate a random pizza, we get a random item from that list. Sorry, from that dictionary. Okay, you can see there's a function there called get random item, and that gets a random item from the dictionary, and then the price is obtained from the dictionary just by looking up the. We know what type it is. We know it's a random type, might be Napolitana, and we can just look up the price in the way I've just described in the previous video. Then, in order to do the description and the total price of the pizza, we've got to do these random toppings. This is just like the previous examples. So we start off with the pizza description set to the pizza type, then we loop over, we decide a random number of toppings we're going to add to the pizza, which will be something between 1 and 3, and then we just generate a pizza description. But in order to get a random topping, we use this same function, get random item from the extras, and that gives us the type of topping, might be cheese, say, and then we can get the price from the extras dictionary. So we've got two ways of acting with this dictionary. We've got the get random items, which just gets a random key from the dictionary. So it's going to be one of those things like Margherita Napolitana. And then we use the dictionary to get the price. Okay, so let's have a look at the get random item function. So this is it's different from the previous example because dictionaries can't be accessed by index. So we can't say I want the third item in the dictionary. It doesn't work like that. What we have instead to do is just turn the dictionary into a list temporarily and get a random item from that. So it's kind of similar to the previous code, except that we have to create this list. This isn't a very efficient example of code because we're having to create a list every time we want a random item. But for the moment, let's just leave it as it is. So it's we put the dictionary into the function, whether it's the dictionary of pizzas or it's the dictionary of extras. We put it into the function. That function then turns it into a list. You can see on this line of code here, down the bottom, and then we get a random item from the list, and we return that random item. Okay, just these last two lines of the function are the same as before. Okay, there's also in that folder, the Pizza 04 folder, there's a pizza app. So this is similar to the one in my other course, Programming Foundations, using a graphical user interface. And it uses dictionaries to store the pizzas and extras data. So it's similar to, similar to the other course, but it uses the dictionaries. Let's just have a quick look at it, actually. So here's Pizza 04. Here's the Lucky Pizza code that we just talked about. Okay, so that generates a random pizza, and it uses this get random item to get a random item from the dictionary. If I run that, you'll see it's generating a random pizza, and every time I run it, down the bottom you see it gives me a that's a problem that I mentioned last week. Actually, you can get the same topping more than one time, and that one this particular example has now generated a pizza with extra cheese, so it's a very cheesy pizza. Okay, in that same folder there's also a pizza app code that let me run this. So this uses a graphical user interface and allows the user to select their own pizza rather than it being generated randomly. Okay, you can see I'm choosing the pizza, and I can choose the extras. And down in the bottom, the output window here, the output window of PyCharm, I'm getting a description of the pizza, and then you can see the price is updated here. So it's like the one we looked at on the other course, but this example uses the same dictionaries. So there's the dictionary of pizzas, and if I scroll down a little bit further, there's the dictionary of extras. Okay. It also uses another dictionary to group the Boolean vars which control those checkboxes. Okay, so if you remember looking at that example in programming foundations, you might remember about Boolean vars. However, I just wanted to illustrate the use of these dictionaries in a more realistic setting, because we don't just want to be generating random pizzas. I'm not going to look at the code for that example in detail. We're going to talk about graphical user interfaces in a couple of weeks' time in lecture 5. So we'll talk much more about these ideas later. It's just an illustration. Okay, I'm going to stop the video there and then we'll finish off the lecture.